This is mathheals.com, where you can find more links to math YouTube videos and computer science. Let's take a look at the ellipse. Yeah, I guess I can make that a little bit bigger. Our standard form of an ellipse, a is greater than b. We got two forms. X minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. And we got x minus h squared over b squared is plus y minus k squared over a squared is equal to 1. Now, the difference between these is, in the first form, our larger numbers underneath the x squared part. And then the second form, our larger number, the a squared, is underneath the y squared part. Now, here on this side, on the left side, we got c is equal to square root of a squared minus b squared. Center is hk. Major axis is parallel to the x-axis. The length of the major axis is 2a. The length of the minor axis is 2b. And our foci is h plus c comma k and h minus c comma k. And vertices are h plus a comma k and h minus a comma k. Now on our one on the right side. Center is again hk. C doesn't change. It's still the square root of a squared minus b squared. Major axis is parallel to the y-axis. The length of the major axis is 2a. The length of the minor axis is 2b. Foci is h k plus c, h k minus c. And vertices are h k plus a and h k minus a. Let's take a look at our first problem. I want to graph this. We got x squared over 9 plus y squared over 16 equals 1. Now, it's already in our standard form, more or less. But we're going to rewrite it a little bit so it matches it a little bit closer. Now, we have to have 1 on the right side, which we do. We got the x squared, y squared, so we need to rewrite those. This needs to be x plus or minus a number, and I'll do a minus. If you ever have an x sitting there, you can always put a 0 there. Because if I were going in reverse, x minus 0 is x, and x squared is x squared. Now, we need the number down below to be squared. Well, 9 is 3 squared. Now, the y squared I can rewrite as y minus 0 squared. And I want to rewrite this as a number squared, so 4 squared would give us 16, equals 1. Now, notice on here, our larger number is underneath the y squared. Well, a larger number is the a, and that would be the form here on the right side, because the a is underneath the y squared part. So we're dealing with the right formula. I'll jot that down, so we'll keep that in mind. Let's find the different pieces. Okay, first we'll find c. C is going to equal the square root of a squared minus b squared. Well, I should have labeled these first. Let me back up. Scratch. There we go. Not that matters when I label them, but I just want to have the room. Okay, we said a is the larger number, so this is our a. So a is 4. Our other one is b, so b is 3. Now, the h is always with our x, and the k is always with our y. So our h here is going to be this number. And it's opposite sign, but 0 doesn't have a sign. So h is 0. And this is k, and it's always opposite sign, but again, 0 doesn't have a sign. So k is equal to 0. Okay, now let's find c. So it says c is equal to square root of a squared minus b squared. So I got the square root of 4 squared minus 3 squared, which gives us 16 minus 9, which gives us the square root of 5. Now, those are the information we need. A is 4, B is 3, C is square root of 5, H is 0, and k is 0. Once you have those, you have pretty much everything. We're dealing with a formula on the right side. So center is hk. So our center is hk, and h is 0 and k is 0. Our major axis is parallel to the y-axis. Let me jot that down. Major axis is parallel to the y-axis. The length of the major axis length of the... Boy, my writing's just pretty poor today. So length of the major axis is 2 times a. So a is 4, so that'll give us 8. Excuse me. The length of the minor axis is 2b. 2b. Well, b was 3. So we got 2 times 3, which gives us 6. Our foci, now I don't find the foci as important as the other pieces, is hk plus c and hk minus c. Well, h we said was 0. K is 0 plus c, square root of 5. And over here, h is 0, k is 0, so we got 0 minus square root of 5. So that gives us 0 square root of 5, and this one is 0 negative square root of 5. Okay, our vertices. Is hk plus a, and this is hk minus a. Well, h is 0, and we got 0 plus a was, no clue, a was 4. So we got 0 plus 4, and this is 0, 0 minus 4. So we got 0, 4, and we got 0, negative 4. Okay, now let's graph it. Now our center is 0, 0. So that's right here. It's the exact center of our ellipse. Our vertices are right here, 0, 4, 0, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 0, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are our vertices. Now it says the major axis is parallel to the y-axis, which means our ellipse is going to be graphed this way. Because this, the long way will be up and down. Now if it's parallel to the x-axis, it would look like this. So keep that in mind. And there we go. Okay, now the length of the major axis is 8. Well, if you look at the distance from this vertex to this vertex, it's a distance of 8. Now our minor axis, length of the minor axis is 6. What that means is from the center, I'm going to go out, since it's a distance of 6, I'll go out a distance of 3 on both sides. I probably should have made those a little bit more the same width as this, but you get the idea. Okay, now right there is all we really need to get a rough sketch. Our foci, we got square root of 5. What is square root of 5? 2 point something. Let's see. Okay, square root of 5. That gives us 2.2. So our foci is 0 square root of 5, so 0, 2.2, and 0, negative 2.2. So 0, 2.2, it'd be about right there. That's a foci. And 0, negative 2.2, be about right there. And that's another foci. Okay, well, I'm just going to sketch this. That's about as good as I'm probably going to get. It's supposed to look like an ellipse, but yeah, you get the idea. I could plot some points and do that. Now, now that we've sketched this, let me talk a little bit about what the foci is. Our parabola just had one focus. This has two, called foci. If I take a look at this distance here, and this distance here, if I add those together, whatever that would be, if I pick any other point on my ellipse, this distance here to that foci, or to that focus, and distance to this focus, if you add those together, that should add up to the same as this. That's what a foci is. When we're just doing a rough sketch like this, foci doesn't have a whole lot of purpose. The length of the major axis and minor axis and the vertices in the center is what's most important when we come up with this graph. Let me save this. So trig ellipse page 01. Yeah, let's look at our second problem. Let me grab a drink here. Now, once you get going with these these first ones are real simple. Look at this. 16 here. Square root of 16 is 4. And we went up 4 and down 4 on the y-axis, didn't we? This is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. We went right 3 and left 3 on our x-axis. So pretty simple once you get accustomed to them. I'll always refer to the formulas, though, just so you can see where everything comes from. And there's no doubt. Okay, x squared over 9 plus y squared equals 1. Okay, well, let's go back to our standard form. And we want it to look like one of these. Well, both of them are in fraction form, and they have 1 on the right side. That 1's good, so that's starting place. So I want this over a number. It is. This one I want a 1 over a number. Well, if there is no number there, you can always put a 1, like that. Okay, top part I want to write as x plus or minus a number. And again, if you just have an x, then you can always do x minus 0. And this will be 3 squared. This will be y minus 0 squared. And this will be 1 squared. Equals 1. Now our larger number, the 3, is underneath the x squared. So I come over here. I'm looking for a is our larger number. And under the x squared is 1 here on the left. So the formula we're going to use is the one on the left for this. Okay, so the one on the left here tells me that this is A. So A is 3. Tells me this is B. B is 1. H is always a number that's with your x, and it's opposite sign, though 0 doesn't have a sign. And this is our K, and it's always opposite sign, but K doesn't have a sign. So H is 0, K is 0. Well, now we need C. So that's square root of A squared minus B squared. So we're going to have 3 squared minus 1 squared, which gives us 9 minus 1, which gives us square root of 8, which gives us 2 square root of 2. Okay, so the things we needed, we need A, we need B, we need C. Now I'm gonna write down decimal approximation for that. 2 square root of 2. 2.8. And then we need h, which is 0, and we need k, which is 0. Okay, so we're going to use our formulas on the left side. Center is hk. So that'll be 0, 0. Major axis parallel to the x-axis. So major axis parallel to the x-axis. That means it'll be long this way. Length of major axis. The length of the major axis is equal to 2a. And a we said was 3, so we got 2 times 3, which gives us 6. The length of the minor axis is 2b, which is 2 times 1, which gives us 2. Let's see, the formulas on the left. Foci is h plus c, comma k, and h minus c, comma k. Now h is 0, k is 2 square root of 2. H is 0, c is 2 square root of 2, and k is 0. So that gives me 2 square root of 2, 0. And this one gives me 0 minus 2 square root of 2, 0, which gives me negative 2 square root of 2 over 0. Now, for purposes of rough sketching these, that has almost no meaning, 2 square root of 2. But 2.8 does, so I'm going to use it. So 2.8, 0, and negative 2.80. Though really, I'm not going to do anything with my foci. Our vertices. We got h plus a, comma k. So h plus a, comma k, and h minus a, comma k. So h is 0, a is 3, and k is 0. And here we got 0 minus 3, 0. So we got 3, 0, and negative 3, 0. Okay, so let's graph this now. Center is 0, 0. Right there. Vertices are 3, 0. And negative 3, 0. I already said that its picture's going to look like this, so that's really that and the minor axis. Length of the minor axis is 2, which means if I divide 2 by 2, I get 1. So it's going to go a distance of 1 up here. That'll be a point. And distance of 1 down here, and that'll be a point. And let's see if I can do a little better drawing it this time. Okay, there we go. We're just sketching it, so it's no big deal. As good as I'm going to get it. That'll be our graph. Again, a vertices is an important part. That tells you your major axis, and then the minor axis allows you to get these points real easy. If I want to get a little bit more precise graph, I wouldn't try to use a foci for this. Foci really is not that beneficial for doing it by hand. If you're using some kind of tool, it is. But really, like plugging in a point, plugging in x equals 1, and finding out what these are. Plugging in x equals 2 and finding out what those are will give you more precise. And then by symmetry, you could get the rest very easy. Let me save that. Time for it to blow up. Let me bring up a new tablet. There we go. Let's look at number 3. I'm going to grab a drink here. It says find the vertices and foci, graph it. Well, I'm going to find the center also, because that's kind of important. Now this one, these are all centered at 0, 0, 0, these first ones, but pretending I don't know that. So we got x squared over 36 plus y squared over 4 is equal to 1. Okay, so let me go back up here. Our goal is to get it to look like one of these. Both of them have numbers under them. We have a 1 on this side, so that's a really good start. So I'm going to rewrite top part here as x minus 0 squared, bottom part as 6 squared, and this will be y minus 0 squared, and this will be 2 squared. Well, our large number is underneath the x squared. So if I come over here, here a is always your larger number. A is underneath the x squared on the left side here. So we're going to use the formulas on the left. Well, a is 6. B is 2. H always goes with your x. It's opposite sign, so h is 0. And k always goes with your y, so k is 0. Now c is equal to square root of a squared minus b squared. So I got 6 squared minus 2 squared, which is 36 minus 4, which gives us 32. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Remember the square root, we're looking for a pair of somethings. Here's a pair of 2's, here's a pair of 2's, so it gives me 4 square root of 2. Okay. Let me jot down what we have now. It does help to kind of write them all in one place. A is 6, B is 2, C is 4 square root of 2, H is 0, and K is 0. Our center is HK, which would be 0, 0. Now, let's see, formula's on the left. It says major axis is parallel to the x-axis. So major axis parallel to the x-axis. Well, what that means is going to be looking like this versus up and down, long ways. Okay. The length of the major axis is 2a, and a we said was 6. So we got 2 times 6 gives us 12. The length of the minor axis is 2b, which is 2 times 2, which gives us 4. Okay. Dealing with formulas on the left. So foci is h plus c, comma k, and h minus c, comma k. So we got 0 plus c, which was 4 square root of 2, comma k, which is 0. We got 0 minus 4 square root of 2 and 0, which gives us 4 square root of 2, 0, and negative 4 square root of 2, 0. Vertices is h plus a k, yeah, h minus a k. So h plus a k and h minus a k. Well, h is 0 again. A is 6, comma k, which is 0. And this would be 0 minus 6, 0. So we'll have 6, 0 and negative 6, 0. Okay, so let's graph this. Find our foci and our vertices. Center is 0, 0. Our vertices are 6, 0, negative 6, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those are our vertices. And distance there is 12, which matches our length of the major axis, 12. Length of the minor axis is 4, which means from the center I'm going to go up 2 and down 2. And again, I know that the graph looks like this. So now that I have these points, it's very easy to come up with it. Making it look like an ellipse is probably kind of a challenge. Freehand, that's going to be as good as I get. And that'd be our graph. There we go. Let's look at our next problem. I'm going to open my window here. I'm dying in my room. There we go. Okay, it says find the vertices and foci of each ellipse, graph each equation. So we got x squared plus 15y squared is equal to 45. Now, the key to both of these formulas is you have to have a 1 on the right side. So I need a 1 over here. So I'm going to divide everything by 45. So I got x squared divided by 45 plus 15y squared divided by 45 equals 45 divided by 45. So this is going to become x squared over 45 plus y squared over 3. 15 and 45 both divisible by 15 equals 1. Okay. Well, I need these as x minus or x plus a number, so I'll rewrite that as x minus 0 squared over, and 45. Well, it doesn't work out really nice on this one, but you can always just put a square root around this. Trying to figure out how to rewrite that as something squared, I'll just put a square root around it. The square root and the second power cancel if I were to go backwards and gives me the 45. Same thing here. I'm going to put a square root around the bottom, like that. Equals 1. Okay, well obviously our larger number is the square root of 45. So that's going to be our A. So A is square root of 45, and that'll simplify actually. 45 is 9 times 5, so this becomes 3 square root of 5. And this will be our B, and it's square root of 3. Now this is our H, and it's going to be opposite sign. And this is our K, and it's going to be opposite sign. Okay, I've got C is equal to square root of A squared minus B squared. Now you could plug A and B in there. I was going to write down which formula we're looking at. Let me see the larger numbers underneath the x squared. So again, we're looking at the formula on the left side. So I'm going to write that down. And write some of this down. So that's 3 square root of 5, which is 6.7. And B is square root of 3, which is 1.7. Okay. When I said you could plug in A and B here, realize that A squared, if I were to square this or this, that just gives me my original 45. So you could go directly to those. So this is 45 minus 3 and save yourself some work. Well, 45 minus 3 is 42. I guess that doesn't break down, does it? That's 6 times 7, and 6 is 2 times 3, so I guess that's it for C. So scratch that. So C is equal to square root of 42. And H we said was 0, and K we said was 0. So our center is always HK. So our center is going to be 0, 0. Now our major axis parallel to the x-axis. It means it's long ways along the x-axis. Okay, the length of the major axis is 2a, and A is roughly 6.7. So 2 times 6.7. 13.4. The length of the minor axis is 2b, which is 2 times 1.7. I think that's 3.4. I'm not very good with decimals. Let me go look. 1.7 times 2, 3.4. Okay. Now, foci. H plus CK. So H plus CK and H minus CK. Well, K or C was square root of 42. So I got 0 plus square root of 42, and K is 0. I keep saying K, don't I? That's C. Long day. 0 minus square root of 42. I actually know my letters. Promise. A, B, C, D. Oh, no. I'll probably screw it up. Negative square root of 42 over 0. So those are our foci. Vertices. Dealing with what are we dealing with? Formulas on the left? Yeah. So we got H plus A and H minus A, I believe. Yep. So we've got H plus A, K, and H minus A, K. So H is 0. A. A was 3 square root of 5. So plus 3 square root of 5, K is 0. And then 0 minus 3 square root of 5, 0. So we're going to have 3 square root of 5, 0. And negative 3 square root of 5, 0. Now, 3 square root of 5 is hard to work with. So I got 6.7, 0. And negative 6.7, 0. We're going to use those. So let's go graph this. I think our center is still 0, 0. And our vertices are 6.70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6.7, somewhere here. If you're not sure you got it in the right place, make your dot a little bit bigger. Then over this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, make your dot a little bit bigger if you're not sure. I had a professor at Wichita State one time referred to that as a big dot theorem. I like that, the big dot theorem. Okay, now the length of our minor axis. I know it's going to go this way, so that's given. Length of the minor axis is 3.4, so I'm going to go 1.7 in both directions, which happens to correspond to our B. 1.7, that would be right here. Negative 1.7 would be about right here. Okay, now that we have those, we'll this should look like boy, that's bad. Try that one more time. I could plot some more points, but I still wouldn't be very precise. I should look at like an ellipse. Anyway, that's our graph. Hopefully not many more of these ask us to graph. I'm obviously not very good at that. But again, that's why we have computer programs. Time for that to blow up. So, there we go. Let's look at our next problem. Grab a drink here. So we got 3y squared plus 12x squared equals 12. Well, our different forms, it's like this. So that's what we need to look like. We need a 1 on the right side. Well, divide everything by 12. So I got 3y squared divided by 12 plus 12x squared divided by 12 equals 12 divided by 12. This gives us y squared over 4 plus x squared over 1 equals 1. Now I left this in fraction form on purpose instead of simplifying it because we won't put it in standard form. So I need this as y minus or y plus a number, so I'll rewrite as y minus 0. I need this as something squared, so 4 is 2 squared. This would be x minus 0 squared, and this would be 1 squared equals 1. Okay, our larger numbers underneath the y. So if I come over here, larger numbers are a. That would be our form on the right side here. Now I have these flipped around, but remember addition is commutative, so doesn't matter the order. This is going to be our a. A is always your larger number. This is our b. K is always with your y, it's opposite sign, so k is 0. And this is h. Okay. So now we need c is equal to square root of a squared minus b squared, which would be 2 squared minus 1 squared, which is 4 minus 1, which gives us a square root of 3. So let me write these down. A is 2, B is 1, C is the square root of 3, and H is 0, and K is 0, and what's it asking us for anyway? Yeah, find the vertices and foci. You know, if it wasn't asking us any of that, if you know where your center is, you know, HK, these are very easy to graph, to sketch. Here's your center. Our A is 2, and you have to kind of know which it's parallel to. Like here on the right side, it's parallel to the y-axis. If you know that information right there, well, then when you go here, this is going to go up 2, and this will go down 2. This will go right 1, and this will go left 1. And that'd be our graph right there. Again, the one thing that's important for these is to know whether it's parallel to the y-axis or parallel to the x-axis. Well, that's really easy. Look at this. The larger number, the a, is underneath the x, parallel to the x-axis. Here, a larger number a is underneath the y, parallel to the y-axis. Very simple to remember that. But anyway, let me go through all my formulas. Our center is HK, which is 0, 0. Our major axis, we said formulas on the right. Formulas on the right says major axis parallel to the y-axis. So it's going to be lengthway like that. The length of the major axis is always 2a, which 2 times 2, which gives us 4. And the length of the minor axis is 2b, which is 2 times 1, which gives us 2. Now our foci. Foci is hk plus c and hk minus c. So hk plus c and hk minus c. Now h plus c, h minus c, k plus c, k minus c. Well, how can you remember these formulas? Well, parallel to the y-axis. Larger numbers underneath the y's, we add the c and subtract the c from the y's. Here, the a, the larger numbers underneath the x's. It's parallel to the x-axis. We add and subtract the c's to the x part, the h. So it's not hard to remember those formulas. I'm going to keep flipping back to that slide, though, so you can see it. H is 0, and 0 plus square root of 3. So this gives us 0 square root of 3. This would be 0, 0 minus square root of 3. So this is 0 negative square root of 3. Our vertices. Well, we're going to add the a's. Well, you can probably guess. Dealing with the formula on the right side, we add the a's to the y part. Well, everything's geared toward the y, isn't it? The major axis, the larger numbers underneath the y's, so forth. So this will be hk plus a and hk minus a. So we got 0, 0 plus 2, which is 0, 2. And we got 0, 0 minus 2, which is 0, negative 2. Okay. Center is here. Vertices are 0, 2, 0, negative 2. Our length of our minor axis is 2, or b is 1. So this is going to go 1 on to the right and 1 to the left. And then that's not too bad for an ellipse. Maybe I'm getting better. Practice makes perfect, I guess. There we go. Okay, let's look at our next problem. Center is 0, 0. Our focus, we know we have two focus, they're just giving us one, is negative square root of 13, 0. And our vertex is 7, 0. Well, first let's go determine which formulas we're dealing with. Actually, first let me go grab a drink here. Okay. There we go. Look at our focus and vertices. Foci. K, K. The y parts are the same. Over here, the one on the right side. H, H. Our x parts are the same. Now look at this. For our focus and our vertex, the y parts are the same. So we want the formula with the y parts the same, which is one on the left. Okay. Well, one on the left. Center is HK, so this is H, so H is 0. This is K, so K is 0. Our foci is H plus C, K. Well, we already know K, so this is right here is either going to be H plus C or H minus C. Well, if you already know H, pick one. So I'll do H minus C. That's going to equal to negative square root of 13. Well, if I were to put H in there, that's 0 minus C is equal to negative square root of 13. The 0 drops away, divide both sides by negative, and we get C is equal to square root of 13. Now C should be positive. So we picked the right one. If I did h plus c, it came up c is negative, then I'd know I picked the wrong one. Okay, dealing with formulas on the left side are vertices. H plus a, h minus a. So this right here is going to be h plus a or h minus a. We'll pick one. If you pick the wrong one, it'll be obvious. Okay, so h is 0, so we'll plug that in. And that would tell us that a is equal to 7. Well, we got 4 of the things. We just need b. So let's find b. Well, our formula is c. Oops, try it again. C is equal to square root of a squared minus b squared. That's from our formula right here. So let's see. C was square root of 13 equals square root of a squared. A is 7, so we got 7 squared minus b squared. Well, I could square both sides and get rid of the square roots. So I got 13 is equal to 7 squared is 49 minus b squared. Take negative b squared to the left side. Take the 13 to the right. And I get b squared is equal to, what, 36? Which tells me that b is going to equal the square root of 36. Or b is equal to 6. Okay, so now we have our 5 pieces of information. It says find the equation for each ellipse. Well, we what did we say a was? A is 7. B is 6. C we said was square root of 13. H is 0 and K is 0. We said we're dealing with the formula on the left side. So if I come over here, formula on the left side looks like this. So we got x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. Well, let's plug in what we know. H is 0. So we've got x minus 0 squared over a squared, so 7 squared, plus y minus k, which is 0. So y minus 0 squared over b squared, 6 squared, is equal to 1. Well, x minus 0 is x, so we got x squared over 49 plus y squared over 36 equals 1. And that's our equation. Well, center is hk, which is 0, 0. Our larger number's underneath the x, so it's going to be looking like this right here. And square root of 49 is 7, so I'm going to go 7 here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a vertex. And I'll go 7 this way. Reason why I chose to do that on the x-axis is because the larger number is underneath the x. And square root of 36 is 6, so I'm going to go 6 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And graph those. A little bit bigger. And that's our graph. Which one was that? That was this one. Okay, so let me save that. Now again, it is so easy once you have it in that form. I mean, it told us the vertex was 7, 0, so if you have a 7, 0, you're going to have a negative 7, 0. And, but again, if you have it in your standard form here, it's so easy to sketch. let's look at our next one. And let me grab another drink. Foci 0, -4, 0, 4. Excuse me. Length of the major axis is 18. It's 18. It says find equation for each ellipse and graph it. Well, let's come up here. First off, length of the major axis, that's the easiest one. The formula for length of the major axis is always 2a. So we're saying this right here is equal to 2a. So 2a is equal to 18, so that means a is equal to 9. Okay, now let's look at the foci here. Looks like this is -4 and +4. If I chose the foci over here, the y parts have to be the same. If I choose the foci over here, the x parts have to be the same. Well, here the x parts are the same. So it looks like the formula we're going to use, here the x parts are the same as the one on the right. Okay, so our formula is on the one on the right. This is h, so that's h. K plus c and k minus c. Well, here's a -4. That's probably h minus c. And this would be h plus c. You'll know, if you solve one of these in C, that it'll kind of tell you. Well, if h is 0, put 0 in for h. 0 plus c is equal to 4. We get c is equal to 4. So indeed, c has to be positive, so we picked the right formula. Even if I put 0 here, it'd still work out. Okay, we're closer. We got h, we got c, and we got a. Well, we can find b fairly easily. C is equal to the square root of a squared minus b squared. C was 4, equals square root of a squared, which is 9 squared, minus b squared. Well, to get rid of a square root, you square both sides. So I'm going to have 4 squared is equal to the square root of 81 minus b squared squared. So that gives me 16 is equal to 81 minus b squared. Take negative b squared to the left side, it becomes a positive b squared. 81 minus 16. 81 minus 16. 65, I think. Which is 5 times 13, so can't break that down any. Okay, what do we... I think I've gone senile there where I... wait a minute, let me look at this. Formula on the right. That should be K plus C. Blind. So say something's wrong up there. You didn't see me screw up. Okay, so that's K minus C. And this is K plus C. Try it again. We still get the same result for C, but... Okay, so we have K minus C is equal to -4. We have K plus C is equal to 4. And we add the equations. K plus K is 2K. Negative C plus C drops away. -4 plus 4 is 0. So we get K is equal to 0. Which implies I can put 0 in for the K. 0 plus C is equal to 4. So C is equal to 4. Okay. Now we know all our pieces of information. A is 9. B is square root of 65. C is 4. H is 0. And K is 0. And we're using the formula on our right side. So using this one over here. minus h squared over b squared plus y minus k squared over a squared is equal to 1. Just double checking myself. Okay, so h is 0. B is square root of 65 plus y minus 0 squared, and a is 9, so 9 squared equals 1. So we're going to have x squared over 65 plus y squared over 81 is equal to 1. And that's our equation. Obviously, the larger number is underneath the y. Our center is a 0, 0 again, our HK. Large number is the 81. Square root of 81 is 9. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Go 9 that way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Go 9 that way. Square root of 65. What is square root of 65? Eight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Very close to a circle. And that would be our ellipse. Length of the major axis is 18. Well, if it goes 9 out this way, 9 out that way, so that explains your 18. Anyway, that's our graph. Get this video done. We'll take a nap. Make a basic math error like that, or a basic error like that. Okay, let's try this again. Just to that one. So let's look at this next one. Grab a drink first. Our foci is negative 4, 0, 4, 0. And our y-intercepts are plus or minus 3. Well, our x parts or y parts are the same here. They're both 0. So that kind of tells us something. Let's go look. Y parts are the same on our foci. Here the y parts are the same. Here the x parts are the same. So it's 1 on the left. Okay. So dealing with the one on the left here. What do they give us? Foci, K is the y part, which is 0. So that's one piece of information. Then the h plus c and h minus c. Well, this one must be the h minus c since it's a negative 4. Now, you can't always say that, but you can, especially when you're dealing with these first ones where your center's at the origin. So h minus c is equal to negative 4. Then this would be h plus c is equal to positive 4. Now, if you're not sure you did it right, it'll be obvious once you solve this. If you get c is equal to a positive number, you did okay. Otherwise, these should be flipped around. This would be h minus c, and this would be h plus c. Okay, so we got two equations. H minus c is equal to negative 4, and h plus c is equal to positive 4. If I add these together, the addition method, h plus h is 2h, negative c plus c drops away, negative 4 plus 4 is 0. Divide both sides by 2, and we get h is equal to 0. Which implies, I can plug that back in one of the equations here. So we've got h plus c is equal to 4. We just said h was 0. 0 plus c is equal to 4, so we get c is equal to 4. And c is equal to a positive number, so that's good. Okay, we got h, we got k, we got c. We need a and b, and then we have it. Well, all they give us is a y-intercept. Well, we're dealing with the formula on the left. Let's go see what it looks like. This one right here. x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. Now we're finding the y-intercept. So let's first plug in what they give us. So I got x minus 0 squared, a we don't know, plus y minus 0 squared, and b we don't know, equals 1. Okay, well those are obviously going to drop away. Y-intercept. Remember finding your intercepts from college algebra? You always plug 0 into the other variable. So if we're finding the y-intercept, we're going to plug 0 in for x. Plug 0 in for x. Well, that would imply we put a 0 in here for this x. Well, 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 squared is 0. 0 divided by anything is 0. So that drops away. So we're going to be left with y squared over b squared is equal to 1. Again, since we're finding the y-intercepts, we plug 0 in for x. And 0 minus 0 makes this fraction fall away. Well, multiply both sides by b squared. We've got y squared is equal to b squared. And think what we said up here. Our y-intercept is plus or minus 3. Well, if we put 0 in for x, that means our y is going to be 3. So you got 3 for the y. You got 3 squared, which gives us 9, and b is equal to 3. Like that. Okay. Well, we got c is equal to square root of a squared minus b squared. C we said was 4. A we don't know. B we just said was 3, so that's 3 squared. And actually, let me go ahead and square both sides. So we square both sides. And 3 squared is 9. So that gives us 16 is equal to a squared minus 9. Take negative 9 over. We got 16 plus 9 is equal to a squared. 25 is equal to a squared, or a is equal to square root of 25, which is a is equal to 5. And we're just about there. So we got a is 5, b is 3, c I have no clue, I don't remember. What was c? C is 4. What was h and 0? Or h and k? Probably zeros? Yeah. So h is 0 and k is 0. Said we're dealing with the formula on the left side. So formula on the left side looks like this one. So we got x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. Well, plug in what we got. So we got x minus 0 squared over a squared, so 5 squared, plus y minus 0 squared over b squared, which is 3 squared, equals 1. So we got x squared over 25 plus y squared over 9 equals 1. Of course, our center is 0, 0 again. The larger numbers underneath are x's, so it's going to go lengthwise this way. So square root of 25 is 5, so I'm going to go out 5 in this direction. Go out 5 in this direction. Those are our vertices. Square root of 9 is 3, so I'm going to go out 3 this way and 3 this way. And boy, I really missed that one. Big dot there. Make your dot bigger. There we go. And that'll be our graph. And then kind of matches what we just said. Foci negative 4, 0, positive 4, 0. That makes sense. Y-intercept plus or minus 3. That makes perfect sense to want to look at it. So let me save that. don't know why it pops me into random pages when it does that. Okay, let's take a look at the next problem. It says write an equation for each ellipse. Obviously the center is, what is the center? Negative 2, 1. So center is negative 2, 1. Now, looks like it's parallel to the x-axis. Lengthwise, it's longer this way. So it's parallel to the x-axis. Start at our center and go out to this is our vertex. So we go 1, 2, 3 out that way. So A is going to be 3. And B. Well, I'll go 1, 2 out that way, and B is equal to 2. Okay. Actually, I think that's all we need. Parallel to the x-axis. Let's come up here and take a look. Parallel to the x-axis. It's the one on the left. Okay, our formula there is x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. Well, center is negative 2, 1, so this would be h and this would be k. So we're going to have x minus a negative 2 squared over a, which is 3 squared, plus y minus k, which is 1 squared, over b squared, which is 2 squared, equals 1. So this gives us x plus 2 squared over 9 plus y minus 1 squared over 4 equals 1. Larger numbers underneath the x, so picture-wise, it's going to be parallel to the x-axis. Square root of 9 is 3, so again I'm going out 3 this way, 3 this way. And square root of 4 is 2, so I'll go up 2, down 2. So anyway, that's our answer right there. Okay, let me save this. In case you're wondering, we're getting away from the center being at 0, 0, and this is where it's something other than 0, 0. Potentially. Okay, let's look at number 10. And let me grab a drink here too. And we got x squared minus 4x plus 9y squared plus 36y plus 4 equal to 0. Now we want to put this in standard form. So that's our goal. Rewrite in standard form. We're going to see a couple lessons from now, I believe. We get into the general form of a conic. And depending upon what numbers are before the x squared, y squared, x, y, and the xy term, will determine what it is. Is it a parabola? Is it a ellipse, a hyperbola, and so forth. So we're going to go from this form and put it into our standard form for whatever we're dealing with. In this specific section, we're dealing with an ellipse. So we're going to group the x's, group y's, and take the number to the right side. Take the constant term to the right side. Okay, so I'm going to have x squared minus 4x. Those are my x's. Group those together. 9y squared plus 36y. Group those together. And take my constant term, the number, to the right side. So 4 becomes a negative 4. Step 2. Factor out the number in front of the squareds. Well, there is no number in front of our x squared, so we leave it as is. So I got x squared minus 4x. But here I'm going to factor out a 9, because that's the number that's in front of our y squared. And that gives us y squared plus 4y equals negative 4. Then we want to complete the square on the x's. And complete the square on the y's. Well, for our x's, how you complete a square is you take the numbers before your x, which is negative 4, and you multiply it times a half, and you square it. So again, I took the number that's before my x, multiplied it times a half, and squared. It's always times a half, it's always squared. Negative 4 times a half is negative 2, and negative 2 squared is 4. So we're going to have x squared minus 4x plus 4 minus 4. This may be a little bit different than what you did in college algebra, where you added 4 to both sides. Here I'm just adding 4 and I immediately subtract 4. Because if I were to go backwards, 4 minus 4 gives you this, so I don't change it at all. Now for our y's, do the same thing. Take the number for our y, which is a 4, multiply it times a half, and square it. 4 times a half is 2. 2 squared gives us 4. So we got y squared plus 4y plus 4 minus 4 equals negative 4. Okay. Well, I want to group these 3 terms together and group this one by itself. And I'll group these 3 together and group this one by itself. Now we're going to take the part of completing a square is take this number here and you multiply it times each grouping. Now I would do it on my x's too, but there is no number here. So I'm going to have this part right here factors. This factors as x minus 2 squared. Then I got the minus 4 plus 9, and I'll go ahead and I'll do this in a couple steps. But this just becomes y squared plus 4y plus 4. And then I got 9 times negative 4 equals negative 4. Okay, so we got x minus 2 squared minus 4 plus 9, and now I'm going to factor this. This factors as y plus 2 squared. And 9 times negative 4 is negative 36 equals negative 4. So again, I completed a square and I added a number and subtracted a number. Add number, subtract number. If you have a number out in front, you multiply that through. Now I factored these. If you remember the trick for that, whatever number's right here, right before you square it, sign included, is always what comes right down here. Whatever number's right here, sign included, is what comes right here. Okay, well, I'm going to bring the numbers over to the right side. So I take negative 36 over there, and take negative 4 over there. So that gives us x minus 2 squared plus 9 times y plus 2 squared equals negative 4 plus 4 plus 36. Again, when you take anything to the other side, the sign changes. The negative 4 became positive 4, the negative 36 became a positive 36. Which gives us x minus 2 squared plus 9 times y plus 2 squared equals 36. And that all was the completeness square. Okay, so step 4. Get a 1 on the right side. Because that's what our form says. We have to have a 1 on the right side. Well, in this problem, I'll divide everything by 36. So I got x minus 2 squared over 36 plus 9 times y plus 2 squared over 36 equals 36 over 36. Now that's real close to being in standard form, but let's see, we got x minus 2 squared over 36 plus 9 and 36 both divisible by 9, so that gives me y plus 2 squared over 4 equals 1. Larger number, 36, is underneath the x. So if I come over here, larger number, which is the a, is underneath the x. That's the formula on the left. Well, this is x minus 2 squared. Now I'll rewrite this as 6 squared plus y plus 2 squared. Now I'll rewrite this as 2 squared. Okay. Formula on the left. H is what's with our x, and it's opposite sign. That's a negative 2, so h is positive 2. K is what's with our y, and it's opposite sign. That's a positive 2, so k is negative 2. And this is A. A is always your large number, 6. And this is your B, so B is 2. Now I'm going to sketch this. I'm not going to find all the different pieces. I am going to go through and find C, just to complete that part. I think that's a pretty easy part. Our center is HK, so 2, negative 2. Okay, so that's now our center. Our larger numbers underneath the X's, which means we're going to have it looking like this. Just trying to figure out where to sketch that. So I got 6. So here's my center. I'm going to go 6 units out this way. 4, 5, 6. So that right there would be our vertex. And I'm going to go 6 out this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now our B is 2. So from our center, I'm going to go up 2. And I'll go down 2. Like that. And if I sketch it, that would be our graph. Okay. About out of room, but C is equal to square root of a squared minus b squared, which would be 36 minus 4, which would be 32, which is 4 square root of 2. Dealing with the formula on the left side, center is HK. H we said was 2, K is negative 2. Our foci. Now it's all geared toward the X's, which means this is going to be H plus C, K, and this will be H minus C, K. If I look at my formula, I'll see that. H plus C, H minus C. Well, H was, what was H? 2. C was 4 square root of 2. And then here, oops, forgot my K. K is negative 2. And then this one will be 2 minus 4 square root of 2 and negative 2. And that's our foci. Now our vertices. Again, everything's geared toward our x's, larger numbers under the x's. So we're going to have h plus a, k, and h minus a, k. So h is 2 plus a, which was 6, and k is negative 2. So we got 8, negative 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, negative 2. See how that gives us that vertex? And this will be 2 minus 6, negative 2, which gives us negative 4, negative 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 2. Those will be our vertices. Let me save that. And let's look at another one of those. We're going to use the same steps so we did that on that one. We got 16x squared plus 36y squared plus 96x minus 288y plus 144 equal to 0. And let me grab a drink here. Okay. Well, remember we group our x's together. So I got 16x squared plus 96x. Group our y's together. So we got 36y squared minus 288y. And take our number to the right side. So negative 144. Now we want to factor out numbers in front of our x's. Or x squared, sorry. So I'll factor out a 16. What does that give us? 6x. And we'll factor out numbers in front of our y squared, which is 36. And 8, 4, 8, I think. 8, 4, 24, 2. Yeah, 8. Now we want to complete the square on the x's and on the y's. So for our x's, the number before our x is 6, right here. So we take that times a half, square it. 6 times a half is 3, 3 squared is 9. And our y's. So we'll take the number, drop my y here, that should be a y. Take the number for our y, which is negative 8, times a half and squared. Well, that gives us negative 4 squared, or 16. So I'm going to add the 9. So I do plus 9, and I'll immediately subtract the 9. And here I'm going to add the 16, and I'll immediately subtract 16. I know that seems weird to some people, but you need to get used to that if you're going on to calculus. I'm going to group these three terms together, these three, and then numbers by themselves. We're going to take the numbers before the 16 and multiply it through. Excuse me. Now take 36 and multiply it through. Red, white, and blue. Okay, so I'm going to have 16 times x squared plus 6x plus 9 plus 16 times negative 9. And I'll have 36 times y squared minus 8y plus 16 plus 36 times negative 16 equals negative 144. And becoming more and more like Mr. Magoo every day. I need another light in my room. This factors as x plus 3 squared. And 16 times 9, 144. So it becomes negative 144 plus 36 times, and this factors as y minus 4 squared. And 36 times 16, negative 576 equals negative 144. Okay. Well, I want to get all the numbers over on the right side. So I take negative 576 over. I'll take the negative 144 over. So I got 16 times x plus 3 squared plus 36 times y minus 4 squared equals negative 144 plus 144 plus 576. Now, I forgot to mention, again, remember the trick on factoring these, that whatever number is in the parentheses right here before you square it is automatically what goes here, sign included. Whatever number's right here, the negative 4, goes right here, sign included. Okay, so that gives us 16 times x plus 3 squared plus 36 times y minus 4 squared equals 576. Divide both. We need a 1 on this side. Remember, that was our last step. So we'll divide everything by 576. And 576 divided by 576. 576 divided by 16 gives me 36. So this will be x plus 3 squared over 36. 16 and 576 both divisible by 16. Plus 576 divided by 36, 16. So this gives me y minus 4 squared over 16 equals 1. Okay. Well, our h, again, is a number that's with our x, which is opposite sign, which is negative 3. Our k is a number that's with our y, it's opposite sign, so it would be 4. Our a is the square root of the larger number, which would be 6. And our b is the square root of the smaller number, which is square root of 16, which is 4. And those pieces of information right there kind of give us enough. Remember, your center is hk. So negative 3, 4. 2, 3, 3, 4. So center's there. Larger numbers underneath the x's, which means my graph's going to look like that. Go 6 out this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that'll be our vertex. Go 6 out this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not that way. B is 4, so I'm going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Boy, my eyes are very good. And I go up 4. And then draw an ellipse. Ignoring the fact I can't draw an ellipse, that's our graph. Now you could go through, and now you got H, K, A, and B. You can find C and plug in all your formulas. Larger numbers underneath the x's. So if I come over here, larger number underneath the x's. Here's your A, which is your larger number. I'd use the formula on the left side. I'm not going to go through that. I think I've shown enough examples. Pretty well, once you identify which one's your larger number under, that tells you the orientation of your graph. And using A and B and the H and K, you can very easily come up with the graph. Hopefully I'm actually saving those. Sometimes I wonder when it gives me a little error like that. You know, when my tablet blows up. Okay, so this one, it says find the equation for each ellipse, graph it. Now these were actually asking us to find all the pieces, but center, foci, and vertices. But I hate to bore you, because I think that's pretty obvious. Okay, so let's see what we're given here. Center is 6, negative 6. Our vertex is 10, negative 6. And our focus is 7, negative 6. Okay, let's go look at our formulas. Specifically, I'm going to look at the foci and vertices. For the one on the left here, the y parts are the same. For the one on the one on the left, the y parts are the same. The one on the right, the x parts are the same. Well, this one, the y parts are the same. They're both -6. Excuse me. Which means it's the one on the left. So working with the left formula. Left formula, center is HK. So this is H. So H is 6, K is -6. Now our vertex. Vertex is H plus A, K. Well, we know K. That's trivial. So H plus A and H minus A. Okay, so this one right here, this 10 is either going to be H plus A or H minus A. Let's go with H plus. It'll be obvious. When you plug in your H, if A is not positive, you chose wrong one. Well, H we said was 6, so we got 6 plus A is equal to 10. A is equal to 10 minus 6, or A is equal to 4. That's a good sign. A was positive. Okay, now, cramping up, sitting too long. Working with the formula on the left. Our foci is H plus C and H minus C. So this right here is either going to be H plus C or H minus C. Again, try one. It'll be obvious. Well, H we just said was 6. So 6 plus C is equal to 7. Take 6 over, 7 minus 6. We get C is equal to 1. Now that's what I would expect. I want A, B, and C to be positive. Okay. So for our formula, we need B. Remember the 5 things we need. We need H, K, A, B, and C. Well, to find B, we're going to use the formula C is equal to the square root of A squared minus B squared. Well, C we said was 1. A is 4, so we've got 4 squared minus B squared. Square both sides, and 4 squared is 16. Like that. So we got 1 is equal to 16 minus B squared. A square root and the second power cancel each other out. I'll take negative B squared to the left side, take the 1 to the right. So we've got B squared is equal to 15, so B is equal to square root of 15. And those are our 5 things. So let me write them down. A is 4, B is square root of 15, C is 1, H is 6, and K is -6. What did we say? We'd say the formula on the left. Okay, so formula on the left, and I have no clue what they were asking. Let's go down and look. Find the equation, then graph it. Okay, formula on the left looks like this. X minus H squared over A squared plus Y minus K squared over B squared equals 1. So we're going to have X minus H, H was 6, squared, over A squared, so 4 squared, plus Y minus K was -6, so we got minus minus, over B squared, and B was square root of 15, equals 1. So we're going to have X minus 6 squared over 16 plus Y plus 6 squared over 15 equals 1. Almost a circle. And after we find the equation, they promise to graph it. Yeah. Well, pieces of information they give us make it pretty easy to graph. Center is 6, -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, -6. That's our center. Vertex is 10, -6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, -6 is a vertex. Center's in the middle, so obviously the other vertex would be on this side. I went out a distance of 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got a distance of 4 on this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be our other vertex over here. Okay. Focus doesn't help us a whole lot in the graph. Square root of 15, though. Let's see what in the world that is. Let me plug that in my calculator here. Square root of 15. I get 3.8, 3.9. Which means I'm going to go up 3.9 and down 3.9. That's our center. So I'll go up 3.9. 1, 2, 3, there's 4. So down a little bit. That'd be right there. And then that distance there has to be by symmetry down here. And if I draw an ellipse, looks like that. Looks almost like a circle. Again, when your A and B are almost the same, when they are the same, they are a circle. But when they're almost the same, then you'll see it start getting closer and closer to a circle. Let me save that. And let's look at our next problem. And our last problem, actually. Okay, center is 4, 2. And focus is 7, 2. And contains the point 4, 4. And same instruction probably. Find equation, find equation, graph it. Notice something about our center and our focus. Looks like the y parts are the same. Let's go look, see if that helps us any. Center, HK, focus, KK. Y parts are the same here. Over in this one on the right side, HH. The x parts are the same. Well, we said y parts are the same. So y parts are the same is our one on the left side here. So we're dealing with the one on the left side. Okay, well center is HK. So this tells me H is 4. This tells me K is 2. Our focus, K, but we don't need that. The x part is either H plus C or H minus C. I'm going to take a guess that this is H plus C. You can't always go off that because it depends on where your center is. But you'll know when you solve it. H is 4, so we've got 4 plus C is equal to 7. Take 4 over, 7 minus 4, we get C is equal to 3. Well, we're missing A and B. Let's see if this contains this point helps us any on that. Okay, we said the formula on the left, so let's write that down. We've got x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. Okay, well, let's plug in what we know. H is 4, so we've got x minus 4 squared over a squared plus y minus k, so y minus 2 squared over b squared is equal to 1. Now, it contains this point. Well, if it contains that point, that means this is our x and this is our y. So we can plug these in for x and our y. So this would be 4 minus 4 squared over a squared. And this one would be 4 minus 2 squared over b squared is equal to 1. 4 minus 4, that's 0. 0 squared is 0. 0 divided by a squared is 0, so that drops away. So we're left with this fraction. 4 minus 2 is 2, so we got 2 squared over b squared is equal to 1. Now I'm going to multiply both sides by b squared. So we got 2 squared is equal to 1 times b squared is b squared. So b is going to equal to 2. Okay, we're just about there. We need a. Well, our formula says c is equal to the square root of a squared minus b squared. C we said was 3. A we don't know, so we got a squared minus b squared. B is 2, so we got minus 2 squared. So 3 is equal to the square root of a squared minus 4. Now we'll go ahead and square both sides. And that gives us 9 is equal to a squared minus 4. Take negative 4 over, it becomes a positive 4. So we got a squared is equal to 9 plus 4. Or a squared is equal to 13. So a is going to equal the square root of 13. So let me double check that. It seems weird. 13 minus 4 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. Yeah, I guess it does work out. Okay, let's jot these down. A is square root of 13. B is 2. C is 3. H I don't remember. H is 4. And K is 2. We set its formula on the left. So let's write down the formula on the left. So we got x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. Well, let's plug in what we're given. H was 4, so we got x minus 4 squared over a squared. And we got y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. So that gives us x minus 4 squared over 13 plus y minus 2 squared over 4 equals 1. And that's our answer. Now what in the world did they give us in that problem? They give us center, give us focus, contains that point. Okay. 4, 2. They gave us center. So that'd be right there. Our larger numbers underneath the x's, which means my graph orientation is going to be this way. And I'm going to go out a distance of square root of 13 in both directions. So let me see what in the world square root of 13 is. So square root of 13, 3.6. So about 3.5. So 1, 2, 3.5 would be about right there. Make my dot a little bigger if I'm not sure about it. And I'm going to go 3.5 out in this way. 1, 2, 3. That'd be about right there. Now our b is 2, square root of 4. So I'm going to go up 2 and down 2. Right there and right there. And that'd be our graph. Now, if you want to, you can go through those formulas and formally find your vertices and all that. But it really, once you get going with it, you'll find it fairly simple just to sketch them. So let me save that. I'll stop my recorders. Been going an hour and 44 minutes. Unreal. I'd have been talking for forever. Blah, 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 blah. Turn to page 2531. Okay. The ellipse. And F10.